Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I am your host and stroke survivor, Jerry Wall. And for those of you that are new here, thank you for being here, and I appreciate it. So, I started doing the show to bring awareness to stroke, TBI, aphasia, brain injury, and also to provide a platform for survivors to share their journeys and from all across the world. And this morning, I'm happy to announce that Candace McCabe is on or beyond on the show here, and she'll share her journey and what's going on in her life. And then, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel called Let's Talk Stroke. And also, please ask questions, make comments, and we'll look forward to having Candace on the show. So let's bring Candace on, and we'll go from there. So, good morning. I didn't mumble it too much, but it's
You did
okay.
great.
How are you? It's been a while. I mean, it's been years.
It has been years. I don't
Yeah.
even remember what the last time was that we did it, you and I together. I don't
Well,
recall.
yeah, 4 or 5 years. Who knows how many years? But it's been a while, I think. I
Right, yeah,
um,
because I think you and I got together once you got your own show, because the last
right.
time the former time was with AA and you and me.
Yes.
And I said something political. I mentioned something political and he just about shot me out of the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah. I know things built up, but hey, it's all good now, and here we are, and it's so nice to see you. It's been a while, and thank you for being here. And we'll talk about your journey and what's going on in your wonderful life. And but where are you located?
Well, I live in Belmont, New Hampshire.
That's wow. Okay. You got
So
snow
what I'm
out
going
there?
to do right now is I'm going to give a shout out to the Belmont Police Department, and
Perfect.
I'm going to give a shout out to the gal I call into. I spoke with her this morning, Dispatcher Randall. God bless you, dear. She just got married this year. Mwah, I love you, girl.
Wow.
And I give a shout out to my hair guy. I had to cancel my appointment with him last Saturday, and he's trying to get me in, but he couldn't get me in ahead. I've got Grace up here, and we've just done what we could to mitigate that this morning. And I'm not that vain, but I do like to look good if I'm going to have a professional appearance. And it is what it is. I'm just going to say it
You
is what it is.
That's right. Well, you look terrific.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
I just had my 70th birthday.
Ah,
And I'm feeling good. Generally speaking, every day that I wake up, it's a glorious day because, I feel that I'm, you know, lucky, fortunate. I had a hemorrhagic stroke.
yeah.
It was on December 15 in 2013. And this is what I look like without my glasses. I've got to have them if I'm going to see what's going on with the screen and make sure that I'm centered here and centered there. But yeah, it was on my baby brother's birthday,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, my brother Tim, he's no longer with us. He died. I had my stroke in 2013.
Right.
My mom died in October 14 in 2016, and my baby brother died 7 months after her, May 23rd in 2017.
Wow.
And then on the way, what was it? It was a week after his funeral. My then husband told me he wanted a divorce.
Wow. What year?
That was 2017.
2017. Wow.
So at that time, he wanted to do it without lawyers. And, I did, I, I looked into it.
Right.
And, but I met with, at that time, let's see here, my insurance was Medicaid at that time. I think they
Right.
called it Obamacare as well. And I thank God for that, because if I hadn't had that kind of insurance, I probably would not be alive speaking with you right now.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
they airlifted me when I had going back to the actual event. They airlifted me from Lakes Region General Hospital in Laconia, New Hampshire, straight up to Dartmouth Hitchcock in Hanover,
Wow.
and by helicopter. and a lot happened on that flight. But going back to the event after my brother died, we tried to. I started looking at the divorce about going to free court. Every month they have a free court that you can sign up for, and you have to be there early to sign up to get in. And then you'll meet with a lawyer that's like not somebody from in town, not somebody from the community, but somebody, one of the pro bono people that they put together. And I
Right.
actually met with 3 lawyers on 3 different occasions to see what their suggestions were and options were. And the bottom line was, they all said, listen, you're a stroke survivor. You're going to need a strong advocate. And
Yeah.
and I kept saying to all of them, well, then can you come in the court with me? And they said, no, we're just part of this pro bono, you know, between you and the court, and hopefully between you and a future lawyer that you will have to get to represent you.
Wow.
And so out of all of that, I made the determination that I really need to get a lawyer. So I filed in April of 2019, ultimately, because I did not want to have to deal with. He had already moved out. By that time, he had already moved out and gone to Massachusetts, and that's his home state.
Right.
And pursuing work and 2 women. So
Yeah.
what can you
Probably.
do?
I know that's
If they don't want
I-
to stay around, they're not going to stay around. There's no point keeping them. There's no point making it beating a dead horse deader. You can't do that. And
right.
so I, that was a lot to take in. My
Yeah.
stroke, my mom's death, my brother's death, my husband's announcement that I want a divorce, and after he left, he left 26 days after. It was my service. I call her my service dog, because she actually was the one that. Now, I'm from the medical community, and I didn't even know I was having a stroke. And that dog, 3 minutes before I realized I was having a stroke, that dog knew I was having a stroke. And she was half Jack Russell, half miniature schnauzer. Her name was Isabella,
Right.
Izabella. And we had picked her up from Indianapolis, Indiana, from my friend Victor Gubenko. Victor, hello, mwah, to you. I loved Isabella with all my heart. That she had lymphoma cancer, and we had to put her down, and that was a rough thing too.
Yeah.
So 26 days later, he moved out, and there I was with. At that point, when my mom died, her cat came home to live with me, and she just passed, so she had to leave. She had to depart
Right.
August 8th last summer.
Wow.
And that came right after my dog's Garrison. I've got a dog. I ended up getting a puppy, and he's going to be 6 this year. He's going to be 6 on April 17th. So it's a
Wow.
few days away, and he'll be 6 years old. And but he's the best boy. And he's a Wheaton colored Scottish Terrier. He's the love of my life. He's my dream dog. And he had a rough start in life too. And the gal who had his litter, my breeder, Sharon Nolly. Hello, Nolly's Candy Candles.
Okay. Good. You can see. Can you see the comments?
No, I can't see any of them.
Okay. Because the Indies saying Indies here. I'm looking at all the comments here, but we can go. You can go through them later. But I appreciate everybody here making comments here. Uh, I, I can't. I have to look at, like you said earlier, to get clear. We have
Yeah,
to wear our reading glasses. So, Colleen
put them
Vanderpool.
on, brother.
Yeah, exactly. The dust is wiped off of our feet. Brad, nice to see you. Kevin Harmer, Naomi. There's a lot of them here. Robin Martinez. There's a lot. So I didn't want to go all, but yeah, if I missed somebody, I'm sorry. But yeah, so if we back up the or we rewind the clock. So you mentioned you were in the medical community. So prior to the stroke. You said you didn't know what a stroke was, or
Oh, I knew what a stroke was.
okay,
I was educated at Concord Hospital School of Nursing
okay,
twice.
wow,
And the first time I went, I was fresh from home and homesick. And I was there 3 months and I couldn't stand it and I had to leave.
no,
So the next time that I went back, I was actually married to my first husband, Michael Carpenter. Shout out to Michael and his wife, Robin. Hi, Robin. And if I don't even know if she's going to be on or if they're ever going to see this, but I want to, Mike is a great guy.
right,
And, I look at the common denominator between both of my divorces, and that's me.
yeah,
So,
oh,
there's a lot. I have had a lot in my history that probably I was very young when I got married, um, and I love Michael very much. I respect the man very much. He's my son's husband. I had my son Carrie is my son's husband and father rather. And so at any rate, but yes, I was trained as a student nurse at Concord Hospital School of Nursing, and to
wow,
go over my career, my medical career, I after I got out of nursing school, and it was kind of a sad thing to have to leave. The
yeah,
second time I was dedicated. I'd already gotten my first stripe on my nursing cap, and so I'd gone through uh, the first graduate. It's kind of like a graduation into the first black stripe that you get on your cap, and I was just about 6 months from graduation, which was it was a diploma school. It wasn't a
right,
BSN school. It was a diploma school,
huh,
and so I was just 6 months out when something happened within the school of nursing, and the school of nursing doesn't exist anymore. So I'm not going to say who did it, but a felony was committed against me by one of the staff, and I was at dinner that night with one evening with the people that we bought our land from. My first husband Michael and I bought 13 acres of land,
right,
and we were going to build a house. So we were at their home for dinner one night, and his name is Jack Rogers. Great, hi Jack, if you're there. Greatest attorney on the face of the earth, but he wasn't there, and we were just friends. We bought the land from him. Great guy. He and
right,
Ann, his wife, I love them both dearly. And Jack said, what happened? Tell me about this again. So I went through the whole thing about what had happened and everything. And he says, do you realize a felony was committed against you? And I said, no. Can you tell me about that?
yeah,
so
I'd like to know,
so so he told me, well, they're not supposed to tape record you without asking for your permission. And he says it's a felony to do that. And the lady who was the then director of the school, and it wasn't Kathleen Yapel, this was the lady who succeeded her, was the lady who had me in her office. And it was over something stupid, too. It was, they had been putting the wrong grades. We had little open mailboxes like pigeonholes, and
right,
that's how we got our grades. They weren't in sealed envelopes or anything like that. They just put our grade on a slip of paper and put it into our pigeonholes. And I often sometimes wonder if this was a psyop when I when I think about it all,
right,
because the person whose grade I got and I knew what my grade was already, but I got somebody else's grade in my pigeonhole, and she was not passing. And
wow,
one of the things about the School of Nursing was that you had to be a passing grade to go on to the next phase of your education.
right,
So she wasn't passing, and what I did was I took the slip and I just put it in her box. Of course, I hadn't looked at it because I thought it was my slip, and so I put it in her box, and I went directly to the counselor for the student nurses, and I explained to her what had happened.
right,
And she said, thank you for being honest, for doing that. We'll find out where your scores are. We will go look right now. We'll find out where your scores are and put your score in your box. And I said, I pretty much know that I'm passing, so I'm okay with it. But at that time, when I went back to school, I got a little bit of moisture here on my corner of my mouth, and it's driving me nuts. Too much lipstick. And
no,
So oh, I you know, finally had this conversation with the staff, and but I had to keep, because it was my second time back to the nursing school, same nursing school. I had to keep a master's degree level of performance for myself.
Wow.
And I knew why they had pushed this gal on.
Right.
She was actually in my pod one day when somebody who was not her patient, she was a fast study in terms of you know, all of the clinical findings and everything. And the patient in the other bed, and I give her kudos, and I hope she had a fabulous career. But she was a natural. She's one of what you would call a natural person
Right.
when it comes to nursing. And she actually saw somebody crashing in the next bed, and they had just come back from a nephrectomy. So that, you know, they had a kidney out. So God bless her, she saved this person's life.
Right.
And
Wow.
so I'm glad that they pushed her on. I'm sorry I got her grades. I'm sorry I I don't even remember what her first name was now, but I've got her. I know what she looks like. I could describe what she looked like. And great gal. I loved her to pieces.
Sure.
And she proved that day that she deserved to go on and be pushed on to the next phase, regardless of what her academic was. She
Right.
had it in her head, and she knew what she was looking for to save lives. And that's really what matters.
Right.
So
Right.
I was thrilled for that. But to get back to Jack, you know, Jack was great. He said, you know, these are your options. You know, he says, I'll take you on as if you need a lawyer. And I said, you know what, Jack, I'm going to go in and sit down with him, and we're going to have a talk.
Right.
And I
Right.
was at that place where my husband and his family were anxious to have a grandchild. And I was on the, you know, I was an adult now, and I'm not getting any younger. And I just said, oh boy, you know, what are we going
Right.
to do? So I decided to not continue paying the School of Nursing money, and I declined continuing my education. And I have to say, for everything that I learned in the School of Nursing, none of it went to waste, because I used it at every place that I went, that I was employed at afterwards.
Wow. Wow.
To pay off my student nursing loans, I worked for my best friend, Mike Ware, DVM, Tilton Veterinary Hospital. The best 6.5 or 7 years of my life
Wow.
doing what I really wanted to do in life, which was be a veterinarian.
Oh, nice.
And that's why nursing didn't work out great for me.
Right. No. No. Because I
So I
mind.
really wanted to be a puppy dog nurse and a kitty cat nurse, a small animal. And I wouldn't have minded being a large animal veterinarian
Wow.
either. But that was where my heart was.
Yeah. Your
And
passion.
not surprising, because I grew up on a 55-acre dairy farm.
Cool. Wow. What
We
a.
had we had Jersey cows, and we had chickens. And you know, so that was my life. I knew that world.
Right.
And I of course missed it. And but at
Yeah.
any rate, life moves on, and I have had a great, despite all of the twists and turns in life, I've had a great life.
Right.
I don't
Did,
regret any of it,
no, not
Jerry.
at all.
I've worked for a boys camp called Camp Mowgli. Shout out to Camp Mowgli. I put you in my will.
Wow.
And you know, I worked for Community Health and Hospice, was my last uh
Whoops. Let's see what's going on. We're still frozen there. I had 2 strokes. Colleen, thank you for putting your. Holy wow. Mine was October 19th. I understand, Colleen, completely. I know that she's frozen. Nick Clark, nice to see you. Um, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. I know that Colleen's Colleen. Sorry. Yeah, Candace is frozen here. So let me see if she's gonna thing here. Let's go, Candace. Let's give you a little. She probably has to pop back on here. Oh, well, okay. Well, anyway, you guys, I appreciate you being here. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go there and um, let's talk stroke. Let's see. And let's see. Thank you for helping others as a nurse. Appreciate there you guys being there. And yeah, so sweet. Um, yeah. Let's see, Robin. Hope all's going good. We were down there. I told you in Palm Springs, California. My gosh, if you know where that is, anybody, it's very. I mean, the windstorm. Holy smokes, the dust, just crazy. But I see. Just pop back on here, Candace, and let's see if I've what is it? If I've missed anybody, and let's see. But anyway, this show is live on Facebook, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Twitch. If anybody know what Twitch is, I never knew. So, but now I do. Um, the old gaming community. I know that she will be back on. I'm sorry for this, you guys, but let's see. Um, let's see. I have a great parenting and thankful for her and understand. Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure she'll be back on, but I'm just Isel. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. And um, let's see. Um, trying to think. I had a stroke October 19th, 2010, and let's see here. Let me just because she said she's trying. Uh, she did it, and Candace is back. Let's see, Candace. I know, things happen. No worries. There you are.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
I'm back. I don't know what was happening, but anyway, I grew up as a kid in the country. That's what
Yeah,
I wanted to be. I wanted to be a vet, and I've used all my nursing education. I used it at the animal hospital. I used it at community health and hospice. I worked for
yeah,
a camp, and used it there when the nurse wasn't in. I really enjoyed my life, and after I finished up at community health and hospice, I was there for just shy. I think it was like 6 months shy of a decade. And that's
wow.
what got me in trouble because I didn't have a 40 quarters according to Social Security. And
Oh,
when I had my stroke, I went to try to get SSDI,
yeah,
and they said I would be grandfathered in because I had my stroke in a certain range of time after my last employment with community health and hospice. I had my own business, which was Sugar Isle Aesthetics. After I finished at community health and hospice, I went to school at Elizabeth Grady School of Aesthetics in Medford, Mass. And I drove every day from home in Jaffrey. At that time, I was living in Jaffrey. Drove to Massachusetts in Medford. That was a trip. I'll tell
did you, was that before your stroke or after your stroke?
before my stroke.
Okay,
Yeah,
do you know what caused your stroke? Was it stress or?
it was a lot of things. What led up to it was a major move. A lot of things happened when Obama came in, and I'm going to just say this because this was with the time frame that was in. I'm not trying to be political, folks. Please understand.
Yeah,
At the time that I was going to school, Obama hadn't come into office yet. But when I finished school, my husband's mother, my then husband's mother, came up to live with us,
right.
and I was fine with that. Although I didn't want to be doing geriatric nursing again, and
Yeah,
because that's why I went. That's why I didn't become a human nurse. I wanted to be a veterinarian or veterinary nurse.
right.
So anyway, that aside, we ended up. My husband was working for Textron
Yeah,
Incorporated, and at the time that he lost his job, there were I think it was 4 phases of downsizing, and Obama was in office at the time. He downsized the military. He bought out the auto industry. He bought out the banks. He didn't help anybody in America. Instead of paying people of America, his constituents. He bought out the banks and he bought out the auto industry. My husband was in the fourth phase because he was in IT, and he was, he was running things. He was a liaison between IT, and he was a liaison between the legal department. So he did a lot, and he traveled a lot too. He went to LA. He said one day on the way to work, they tried to carjack him at gunpoint, and he drove up onto a sidewalk and got off, crossing traffic, LA. I mean, who
I know.
can even imagine that? So
Right.
I kudos to my former husband. God bless you, Gary. I couldn't have done it. And, that's insane. But ultimately, in the fourth phase, they kept him on. He was the higher up echelon, and they kept him on. And they were just down to, I think, 3 primaries in his department when they let him go. And then, when you don't pay your mortgage, the mortgage people get upset about that.
I don't like it.
And so we were without a job after a while. He
Right.
did, he had the severance package and all of that, but ultimately we had to short sell our home in Jaffrey.
Sure.
And then we had to move. We moved north. 2 hours north is Laconia. And my sister was living there, so we thought we'd live near there. My husband got new work in an entirely different industry, which was good for him because it expanded him. He did a number of different things. Of course, at that time, the moving was very stressful. The people that we were working with to, help us, finalize the packing and all the stuff that goes along with moving.
Right.
It was insane, but that led up to a lot of stress. And then on December 14 in 2013, there was a snowstorm, and we ended up going out to having to shovel out the cars.
Yeah.
And we were in a rental home. It was a very nice rental home. I loved that house in Laconia. It was a very nice place.
Right.
And although we didn't want to buy that house, and what we realized was, it wasn't our style house. Well, little did I know that I was going to have a stroke the day that I went out to shovel snow. It was like
Right.
hip high snow.
Ah,
And it was just a lot of very strenuous, it was thick, heavy snow.
right.
So
So
I
the
ended up
stress.
with it was smaller than a kiwi fruit, but larger than a golf ball size bleed behind my right eye. And when I went in, I told my husband I wasn't, I was tired. That was what I felt. My
Yeah.
initial symptom was exhaustion. And I went up, but I could still walk. And I walked up the stairs into the house. And Isabella came right out to me, and she started circling me. And God bless her. I kicked off my left boot with my right foot, and then I tried to kick off my right boot with my left foot, and couldn't.
Right.
And it was my left side that I lost. And so I ultimately yanked it off, and I was standing up there, and I was feeling like just like a headache, like a bad migraine.
Right. Right.
And so that was the symptom, like a bad migraine. I had migraines since I was 14 years old. So, to me, it was like de rigueur. Okay, another migraine. And ultimately, on the way to the bedroom, I walked, I don't know, a typical house length hallway.
How many you can walk?
20 feet, maybe 25 feet, maybe, to the bedroom.
Right.
And I tried to lift my left hip up on the bed, and it kept sliding off, and it kept sliding off. And I was then on the floor.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew, sister, you're having a stroke.
Right.
So I had my cell phone with me, and I called my sister, who was a nurse. She's retired now. And I said, hey, I think I'm having a stroke. And I explained to her what was going on. She said, hang up and dial 911. You're having a stroke. So in the meantime, Isabella was right by my side, and I said, go get daddy. And so she goes out and he's getting his lunch ready because he's thinking he's gonna go to work.
Right.
And as he had a part-time job at that point, he thought he was going to be going to work. And so she got his attention enough that and I shouted his name out, and he came to the room, and I said, listen, two things. One, I'm having a stroke.
Wow.
Two, I need to get to the bathroom. Three, can you get me a baby aspirin? So because I thought I was going to have a heart attack along with a stroke, because that can happen. And from my nursing experience, I knew that can coincide. A heart attack and a stroke can coincide. So he brought back a regular size aspirin, and that was second strike against me.
Yeah.
And but I said to heck with it. I didn't want to bite it in half. I just said, oh, to heck with it. I'll just take the whole thing. So worst thing I could have done. It was a hemorrhagic stroke, not an ischemic.
Blood thinner. That's no good.
Terrible thing to have done.
Yeah.
And I washed it all down. So Gary called the ambulance. They came. They picked me up, took me to the hospital, shot me inside of the CT scanner. And before they shot me in, I said, listen, guys, I'm going to need a catheter. No kidding. This is something I can't manage on my own. I can tell you right now, I've got the sensation I need a catheter. So throw one on. Let's do it. I don't care. Let's just get this done.
It's amazing It's amazing you could talk, because I had hemorrhagic,
yes.
Because none of that. I couldn't, and you're being able to talk, and you were life flighted too.
Yes.
Or was that after?
What was that?
When you were life flighted, helicopter, was that after when they did the CT or that was?
Yep. Okay. It was the CT scan. They shot me in, and they were live reading it. And I mean, they got in there just long enough to live read it and pulled me right back out again. I mean, it was like automatic. They didn't even do a full CT scan on me.
They could see it. Yeah.
They saw the blood and the bleed, and it was like massive.
Yeah.
And they said the doctor was, I could hear him, and he says, we're going to take you out now. He said, and I knew it wasn't a typical scan. I knew it wasn't a typical length scan. And so I knew, okay, your goose is cooked, kid, and we're going to go.
Yeah.
And they brought me out just as quickly as they put me in there, and they had the helicopter was waiting on the pad for me, and they bundled me up and threw me on the helicopter, and I met Lola to my left, and I called him Handsome Mike on the above my head, and away we went.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was pretty dramatic too, because we left in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
It was remarkable. And of course, a lot of things go through your mind when you're having a stroke.
Oh,
a lot of things go through your mind.
I know.
I don't know about you, but I was praying. I'm a woman of faith, and I was praying.
Absolutely.
If it's my time, that's fine. But there are things I'd like to finish. And as I'm flying over Lakes Region, I could see out the windows. Once the rotors have gotten rid of all the snow and everything, and you get high enough, there was actually sun and clouds, and it was beautiful.
Right.
And I could see the Lakes Region, Lake Winnipesaukee, and that's what we call the area that I live in, is the Lakes Region of New Hampshire.
Sure.
And then we just flew directly there. I mean, it was fast. It was a fast flight. I want to say, I think inside of half an hour I was there. And I think it takes about 2 hours driving time when you get onto the different interstates and stuff to be able to go if you wanted to drive it. But as the crow flies, I think it was a pretty fast flight.
Right.
And they had me there on the ground, and there were good things that happened. But while I was in the air and I was looking out over the water, this thought came to my head, and I knew it wasn't for me, because I had been praying in my mind, but a thought came to my head, and the thought was, gee, I wonder how much ice it takes to coat the rotors and down a helicopter. And I just said, Satan, get out of my head.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
knew that, a woman of faith, he's trying to get me right where I am right now in the middle of a hemorrhagic stroke. And no, you don't live here.
yeah,
And
absolutely. Can I ask you one? Well, not me, but
sure,
Colleen's asking here. Can you describe your brain fog if you had it?
if I had it, I didn't have brain fog. Uh, it was just what manifested for me was like a migraine, bad
Yeah,
migraine. It was
right,
just pain behind my right eye. That was it.
right,
I wasn't having any, delirium. There was nothing there. Of course, they were giving me clotting factors at that point because I had because I had messed up by taking that aspirin. I was,
yeah,
that's counterproductive in
yeah,
terms of a
exactly.
hemorrhagic stroke. You're bleeding already. So
Right,
they were
right.
trying to counteract that, but I also had a very high untreated blood pressure, and um,
Maybe-
and that was the key right there,
Wow,
was untreated blood pressure. And because my husband lost his job, and we did not have, we were, he had no money to do Cobra
right,
insurance. So that's why we tried to get insurance. In fact, the reason I wanted to shovel out that mailbox was because
right.
I was waiting for paperwork to sign up for Medicaid. And that's why I kept shoveling and shoveling and shoveling snow that day.
I'm gonna
But my
get that.
husband said, "Listen, I gotta go to work. Don't worry about the mailbox." And I'm thinking, yeah, but he doesn't know, but that I applied for both of us for health insurance.
Right.
So it is what it is. And it worked out. God was good.
Yeah.
He he's been so good to me.
Right.
Um,
Right. Absolutely. Do you what are your deficits now?
okay, well, my deficits are, and it's not really stroke related. I've got basically systemic arthritis. It's a rheumatoid arthritis, and it's a familial thing. It's not bad right now. I'm not dealing badly with it, but there are days like day today. I mean, the weather we're having here in the Lakes region is it's been the mixed bag of sleet, rain, snow, you name it. Whatever temperature it is what we've got right now. It looks like it's raining outside, but
Yeah.
so that's basically what we're dealing with. And I'm a human barometer. Every time that we have weather like this, every bone that I've broken in my life, and there haven't been that many, but every one that I've broken, I can really feel it.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's basically what's going on. But for me, the hardest thing for me is sleeping at night.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jerry before the show today that right now my HOA is going through a lawsuit, and we've hired a lawyer, and all this is very stressful for me. I did not go to last night's meeting. There was a meeting, and I have no idea what they talked about. I actually called a neighbor and said, Jack, here's my proxy if you need to vote on anything. So shout out to Jack Bears. Thank you,
Right.
Jack. But I this lawsuit is we're hopefully coming to a culmination of we want to win this lawsuit.
Oh
And
yeah.
if we can win the lawsuit, there's the possibility of maybe being able to be our own cooperative
Right.
and
Right.
being able to buy this from this guy. And there are grants and loans available that would help us do all of that.
Right.
So that I've already said to the lawyer who represents us that if you need to have me come to court, I'll be happy to come to court and testify for what the transaction was between the owner and myself
Yeah.
at my
Yeah.
front door.
Absolutely.
Because it's important to stand up. And this is a thing I want to tell every stroke survivor person out there. First of all, God is real. I would not be here if it were not for God.
Right.
um,
Right.
but secondly, don't back down from anybody putting pressure on you for anything in life, because there is somebody who can help you.
Right.
And social services, whatever. For me, this year I've had to apply for a community action program to get help with fuel oil and electrical assistance, because all I have for income is my Social Security.
Right.
So So that's an important thing, and you have to fight. Sadly, we all have to fight, regardless of, every morning I wake up, I look at the alarm. I don't even use an alarm. Forget alarms. I can't
Yeah.
even use alarm. I usually awake 3 or 4 times during the night, and I just roll over. What time is it now? But I generally come to, let's put it that way, about 6 o'clock in the morning, and
Exactly.
at that point in time, Garrison needs to go out. I get up, and he's the reason I live. That dog.
Right. Right. Whoops. There we go. Let's see. Another awesome testimony. Yeah. Christine, nice to see you. Steve, yeah. Exactly. It's tough to go through that. I had my hemorrhagic stroke in 2019. No, 2010. October 19th, 2010. And I'll tell you, it's tough going through just trying to sleep. My right side is affected. I had a hemorrhagic stroke, and man, it's just but you got to keep yourself busy, guys. If you know that, you got to keep yourself busy out there, sitting around. I'd like to know how many people drive after your stroke. Can you drive? And did you go through a driving class? And did you have your license taken away? Mine wasn't taken away. Um, let's see. There was one question, not a question, but Stephen, yeah, you had okay. With me, I like that in my head. I could feel it. It's like then I could feel water, and that was the bleed. It's just crazy to go through this. But you know what? Coming up on 15 years in October, you know, still making grounds. Celebrate those little wins, guys. I'm telling you, that's what I do, and all the time. You look back and where I came from, 2.5 months in the hospital and going through rehab. I could see the difference from not walking or talking. I mean, I don't know how many people have aphasia out here. And if you do want to be on my show, Farron, what's up? Yeah, if you do want to be on my show, please reach out to me, and we'll or just reach out to me if you can get a hold of me on Facebook, or comment on this, and I will get the comments. And but feel free, and also if you haven't subscribed, you always mention this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's Talk Stroke. Yeah. Wife, I know you, Stephen, the same. I'm not bringing it up here. I could drive with wife still leery and renewed my license 6 months after. Wow. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Mine is grown, no surgery available, but I'm thankful for you all encouragement. I know. There is. Here we go. Woo! Not a problem. Things happen. It's all good. You're perfect. There you are. Yeah, you've had So yeah, did I ask you? I'm sure. Did you? Are you driving? You probably answered it, and I can't remember. Short-term memory here.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I'm holding my phone now because my phone's hot and I've got it plugged in.
No
So
worries.
and I
No
can't go
worries.
past my holder. But
Yeah.
yes, I do drive. I get my own groceries. I am pretty much independent,
Yeah.
as much as I can be. Now, I did have a couple of really bad falls this winter. On February 5th, I fell real hard twice in the process of taking my garbage from my garage out to the street
Right.
level, which is basically a level shot,
Yeah.
basically. But I have the apron, which is slanted, and the apron to the garage is slanted. So I bought the farm twice, and and I thank God for the people who taught me how to get up from a fall in physical therapy.
Sure.
Thank you, Franklin Regional Hospital PT.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
they really got me, they got me where I need to be in my head. So when you fall, you're supposed to be relaxed, right?
Yes.
And who's relaxed when you're thinking, oh, shit. So you're
Yeah.
not really relaxing. But at any rate, I fell twice, and then
No broken bones.
no broken bones. It was like a teeth jarring, spine tingling
Slow motion, right?
moment in time.
Is your
Yeah,
knee?
a lot of muscles.
Yeah. Have you fallen? And because for me, I've had my share of falls, broken hip, but it's slow motion. If anybody get out there, does it feel like it? It's slow motion.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It totally is slow motion. And then you don't think, you're not thinking about it. You're going down. It does feel like it's slow motion.
Yeah.
And
I know.
then you're down.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
and you might be actually tasting snow
Yeah. In your neck of the woods. Yeah. Exactly.
in
Wow.
my neck of the woods. Yes. So
Yeah.
it was exciting. And then what was it? 2 days later, that was a Thursday. On Saturday, 2 days later, I felt in the garage brushing the snow on my boots off. There's this
Yeah.
thing you can stand on. It's got 2 slots and it's got brushes on all around. And so
Right.
there I am. I step on it. I've got the dog on the leash because I just taken him out to the bathroom. Got the dog on the leash, and he sees that I'm coming his way, and
Yeah.
he just scoots right out of the way. And it
No
was
problem. Yeah.
God bless Garrison. He's the best in my life, and he looks up to me, and he's just so awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have him. But yes, to answer anybody's question, I'm as independent. I'm going to say on a daily basis, I'm about 90% of what I was when I had my stroke, the day I had my stroke.
Yeah, because Musong here, he asked, which we went over this earlier, which what he's saying, Musong, sorry, I'm mumbling. What stroke-related deficits do you have, Candace?
I would say just if any deficits, I have a slight left-sided weakness.
Right.
Musculature wise.
Sure.
Other than that, just I have post-stroke fatigue every minute of the day.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the sleep.
Yeah.
I don't sleep very well. Hold
Yeah.
on just a second. I'm going to hold this phone with my hand a little bit better. See if I can get my finger around there. There we go.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, so it's basically the sleep and feeling tired all the time. And I
Right.
am taking I've got vitamins and minerals, and I'm doing research on everything that I can do in terms of keeping my body as good as it can be. Although I have to say, with after the fall, I have not been as physically active,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get back to that now that the streets are, with the exception of today. Of course, we've had last weekend and this week. Right now, we're
Right.
having the freezing rain, sleet, and all that. It makes it hard to go out and walk.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'm with you on that. I was going to ask you one question, but another question here. After falling, how do you relax until you know nothing broke?
For me, I actually laid down and I do a head to toe assessment. It's very much like meditation, although
Yeah.
you do it faster, especially if you're laying in the snow. But for
Real quick.
meditation,
Yeah.
when you're doing a meditation, you go top to head, crown
Sure.
to your feet, and
Yeah.
you do you do your health assessment and see what hurts, and little by little, you start moving your muscles, and you try to relax totally first.
Yeah.
Then go through all of your muscle groups, start one side, then go to the other side and see what hurts.
Right.
And fortunately for me, I knew I had bruised my the first fall was my left hip. So I knew that my left hip was involved, but I knew that it was muscles. I knew it wasn't like my bone. I knew it wasn't my hip bone. And I was blessed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any seizures ever, or you had any?
No, in fact, they actually gave me Keppra prophylactically once I was out of the hospital, once I was out of Dartmouth Hitchcock, when I went to Franklin Regional Hospital,
Right.
I was at DHMC for like 5 days, and then for the first weekend following my stroke, they took me to Franklin Regional Hospital by ambulance, and then they had me on prophylactic Keppra for I want to say it was 2 weeks, I think. And then I had the unfortunate, I was a headhunter actually came and spirited me away
Wow.
ultimately to a rehab center, a well-known rehab center in New Hampshire called Crotchet Mountain.
Wow.
And they thought I could do better there. And I don't know why they thought I could do better there, because everything that Franklin Regional Hospital had for their equipment was exactly what Crotchet Mountain had. The only
Huh.
difference was they had these little cottages that you could go to, you could be admitted to, and learn activities of daily living, like, you know, doing
Yeah.
your laundry, doing your cooking, doing your ironing, and all that stuff. And that was the whole point of my saying to Crotchet Mountain headhunter, yes, I'll come.
Right.
Well, they admitted me to a 2-patient bed ward,
Right.
and unfortunately, my patient partner was the victim of a really, really bad car accident.
Oh, wow.
And she was having screaming nightmares, reliving her car accident every night. And we did that for 3 nights. And I said, transfer me to the cottage or I'm out of here.
See you later.
And when they said no, and my husband had come to meet with a group of people there, and I knew, you know, of course, I'm with the medical community. I knew that my rights were that I get to be involved in all meetings about my health care.
Yeah.
And at that time, my husband did not have my DPOAH.
Wow.
My sister did. I had given my sister my durable power of attorney for health care.
Yeah.
And it's not that I didn't trust my husband. It's just that he's never been worldly wise about medical community. And my sister was a nurse. And so that's why I asked her to be my DPOAH long ago.
Right.
And
Wow.
so at any rate, because he didn't have that power of attorney, he really had no legal say to conduct a meeting without my presence, outside of my presence.
Right.
And the best thing that I did while I was at Crotchet Mountain, I did end up getting myself retrieved. By the end of the week, I had somebody.
Oops. Thank you guys for being here again, and I'm sure she'll pop on right away again. But we'll probably be done here in just a few minutes. But again, all of you, thank you for being here. I do really appreciate it. Tuesday and Thursdays are my show at 10 a.m. Central Time. So I do appreciate it. And any other questions? You know, this show is live on a lot of social media platforms. So yeah. So tune in on Tuesday and Thursdays and live, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, several pages out there, and it's live. It doesn't go away. So you can always watch the replay, and you can ask questions. If you guys want to ask questions after the show, please do so. I do get back to you, and I know Candace, you know, always ask my guest please to respond, just in case, because most of the questions are for the guests, and I'm always willing to, you know, this is my life. Been doing this. I had my stroke October 19th, 2010, hemorrhagic stroke, right side affected, and still going through rehab and all the above. So as soon as she pops on, I will see if she has a what would you say to a people that are newbies that are going through it, and you know how that is when you first have one. You get that is very like depression and stuff. So no worries. I know how this goes, Candace. No big deal. But
My phone keeps overheating.
no. Well, we can. Well, like we've like a few minutes. But what would you tell somebody like to end the show? What would you tell somebody that first has a stroke and you know the feeling like, oh, what? I don't want to say why me because I never. I just said I'm depressed or you know the isolation. What would you tell somebody that is going through?
Well, I think connecting with groups who are stroke community groups would be a very good thing to do. In my time, there is a group that I am connected with that's in Concord, though. They're the brain injury group of New Hampshire, I think is what they're called. BIANH is their acronym.
Oh, okay.
BIANH in Concord, New Hampshire. They send me newsletters and articles. They do send me invitations, but they're always the invitations to their events are typically down in Portsmouth or further away than I want to drive.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm being a single person now. You know, I try not to go to places where it's going to be, you know, where it will require me to be driving at night. I don't enjoy driving at night any longer. I can do it, but it's not fun for me.
Yeah.
And, it's too stressful for my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm 7 years old and my eyes are saying, you know, please, no more driving at night if we can help it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But at any rate, join the groups that you can. Stay active as active as you can. Do as much proactively as you can for your health, regardless of what it is. Even involve like my doctor. I've got a great relationship with my doctor.
Okay.
She understands that I'm, and if anybody is a friend of mine on my Facebook, they understand. They see the circle that says, you know, stop the mandates. And
Right.
I've never been pro inoculations, especially the COVID-19. I did not get any of that.
Right. Right.
The reason I didn't get any of that is because I had a friend that died from having had that series.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my mind at all. It happened shortly after he got him. And I'm sorry, but just for me and my education and what I did for, and I did a lot of research. I'm not saying this, you know, I'm not trying to be curt. I'm not trying to poo-poo anybody that did go get it when we were all pretty much encouraged to go get it. It's just that I decided me and my house, we decided to serve the Lord and we decided to not put that in our body. And, and that's the way I feel.
Yeah. Everybody has their own, you know, reasons for things and, you know, and yes, the same thing. So, but you know, we got to do part 2 because I appreciate you being on, and I'm really happy that we made this work because you know, but we knew it. We knew, but we've known each other for many years.
Yes.
So, yeah, and I appreciate it. So,
well, anytime you want me on, Jerry, let me know.
I absolutely, definitely.
And anybody who wants to be my friend, get on Messenger, say from Jerry's show, and I'll friend you right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we go, there's Robin here. So I was trying to look. Do you get Botox at all?
No.
Yeah.
You know, as an esthetician, that's what I was working at as my business. I knew that Botox can, of its own volition, go to your brainstem. And so being from the medical community, anybody that wanted to get the non-surgical facelift, which was what I did in my business, Sugarelle Aesthetics, I did not, anybody that wanted to have what I offered I was not comfortable even doing massage with anybody that got Botox injected in their face.
Right.
And so I told them they had to be 6 months out from the last Botox injection and they had to prove it to me before I would do the non-surgical facelift on them. It was microcurrent technology. So no Botox. And, but you know, there are people who need it. I have a friend that needs it for his vocal cords. He actually gets Botox injected in his vocal cords so he can speak. And that makes total sense to me. You know,
absolutely. But yeah, thank you. And so again, reach out and do. Thank you, Serena. Make sure you get a thumbs up or give a thumbs up. Subscribe to Let's Talk Stroke on YouTube. And thank you, Stephen, for requesting Candace's Facebook. I don't know how that come out right, but it didn't. But you guys appreciate, and I always do that. I appreciate um, being on here. So thank you, and we will as soon as Candace pops on, because I know she said her phone's getting hot. I know how that feeling goes. Okay, have you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will um, look forward to Tuesday show next week. So please have a great weekend, you guys, and we will be talking again. So yeah, gone again. So thank you, and you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys. Bye.